I'm here with Ciara McGoohan at NRF 2020. Ciara is with David Jones, and she's flown here all the way from Australia, so thank you for being here.
Thank you
for taking the time. I'm going to start with just a general question about retail and NRF. And when you come here to NRF, to this big show, this is a more than 100-year-old show, what is it that you expect to learn or to see or to say at the conference? What is top of mind for you?
So for us, it's really about understanding what's happening in the world outside of Australia. Australia is a very innovative market. We are very advanced and mobile, but retail, the industry I'm in, we have been a bit stagnant. So we're really looking to learn from other retailers around the world and specifically understand what's happening around data, analytics, mobile trends to make sure that we're really setting ourselves up for the future.
Now, it's interesting you say that. We want to learn from you. So if you were to share, and I know you're speaking at the conference as well, so congratulations on that. If you were to share what might be the couple of exciting things happening in your part of the world that the rest of the world should know, let's start with that first.
Sure. So Australia has been a little bit further behind on the connected retail journey, but we've been investing really hard in that over the last few years. And the great thing about being behind on one thing is you can leapfrog a lot of things that haven't worked so well. So we've been spending a lot of money investing in our digital platforms. We've been spending a lot of money in understanding who the consumer is. And technology is moving very quickly, but we really believe that if there's not a consumer need for it, then the technology is, technology for technology's sake is not very helpful. Right. So we're really looking to understand our customers, understand what they need, leapfrog things that haven't worked in other markets, and really use technology to enable the things that matter most to customers.
So speaking of technologies, right, I think there's so many different technologies that people have talked about, both in the fintech world and the retail world, right? There's NFC and IoT and RFID and AI, ML and beacons and Bluetooth and all of these different things, even AR, VR, smart mirrors, we could go on and on and on. Are there technologies in your mind, both from your experience in the past as well as now with David Jones, are there one or two technologies that are truly now at a point where you can put them to work?
So, I mean, you're very right. There's so much out there, it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes, but really we will always come back to the use case or the customer need that we're trying to solve for. I think if you lose sight of that, you can get lost in all of the various buzzwords and different technologies out there. So things that we've been really focused on in the last year is about loyalty, and kind of loyalty 2.0 for us is all about personalization. And to do personalization really well and at scale, I believe you need to do that in a mobile-friendly way. Like we've seen loyalty and payments is converging into one experience in an app or in a digital wallet, and really using AI and ML to power the personalized offers that we're sending to our customers to make them stay in our stores longer, to give them a great experience, to keep them with us versus moving to our competitors.
Speaking of apps and speaking of the brands that have to go on apps, right? What we've seen here in the US is really the banks trying to have their own bank branded apps and wallets. Their operators tried to do that. That didn't quite work. Google, Apple have tried to do that. What seems to have worked here is retailer-branded apps, like the Starbucks app, or the Walmart app, the Kohl's app seems to work. You go to China, you have the super apps.
Yes.
You basically have the WeChat and the Alipay, and that's what people know.
Ecosystems in themselves.
What do you see as the golden formula for offering Loyalty 2.0 and other consumer-friendly experiences on the mobile platform? What is the brand that the consumer is going to engage with to experience those new features?
So it's really interesting you mentioned the banking apps. So in Australia, the banking apps have been hugely successful for the banks, and it really has become, certainly for younger, more millennial and Gen Z customers, how they want to engage with banks. They don't want to talk to people, they don't want to go into banks, they want to just do everything on app. If I think about retail, like honestly, it's the pure play retailers that have done a really great job in mobile first, because they've built their business online. There aren't fabulous examples in the Australian market of retailers who've done that really well. And again, I think it comes back to you need a reason for the app for the sake of having an app. It might get downloaded, but is it going to be used and are customers going to engage with it? Maybe not. So it comes back to having the right use case and staying really honest with that use case. And you can build that over time and stretch it over time, but start small, learn, test, develop and grow from there.
Right. So you obviously bring a very unique perspective to this thought leadership series that we are doing here at NRF, because you have a background in financial services. You're now in the retail world 100%. You're also in a part of the world which is, like you said, learning from the others as to what works and what does not work. What would you say is kind of the one takeaway that you're expecting to have, right, as you spend the time here in New York at NRF? I mean, is there one or two themes that you are most focused on for your NRF experience this year?
I think it's about, as I mentioned, it's about learning from others. It's about seeing what's worked, seeing what hasn't worked, and being confident in the bets that we are making, and equally being confident about leaving some things behind, because there is so much consumer expectations have changed so quickly and continue to change really quickly, and we can't just invest in everything to keep up with that. So we need to be really confident in the bets that we're making, and it's great to come to somewhere like NRF and look at what other retailers are doing, and that gives us confidence that we are doing the right things as well.
One last question for you. As we look at consumer expectations, customer expectations, right? There is no such thing as one persona, right? We are always dealing with such a diverse range of expectations. How do you solve that as a retailer? How do you deal with the diversity of expectations from you?
I mean, the amazing thing is all of the data that we can collect, and customers give us permission to collect, and that enables us to give them the best and most personalised experience you can have. And I really believe, if you wind the clock back 20 years, retailers were in control and consumers just had to go to their local store and buy whatever the retailer decided to sell. Today, all the power is in the hands of the consumer. So as a retailer, you really need to think about what that consumer wants and deliver that consumer what they want if they're going to keep spending their dollars with you. So to me, it's all about being consumer first. It's all about taking all of the data points, and that there are many data points, but wrapping them all together to deliver as personalised a one-to-one experience that we can. And be that through any channel, online, in stores, over the phone. Like the channel doesn't matter. It needs to be across the board, and it needs to be seamless and connected.
On that note, seamless and connected. Ciara, thank you so much. Ciara McGoohan from David Jones, all the way from Australia. Thank you.
Love it to meet you.
Thanks for doing this. Wonderful.